Hi, hi. I'm Raghav. I'm Mala. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too. So, wanna make out? 30 years ago, this is how Indian matrimony was simple, to the point, and making Charles Darwin happy by getting down to producing offsprings as soon as possible. Sadly, that's not the case anymore. Over the generations, it has evolved a bit. For instance, in the medieval era, they would know whether a girl is marriage appropriate by asking, has she bled yet? Now it has changed to, has she graduated yet? The thing is, Indian matrimony has always had three things in common: the boy, the girl, and each of their over enthusiastic parents. Cut that, Indian matrimony has always had one thing in common: the parents. You could remove unnecessary parties to the contract, such as the boy and the girl, and the process would still go on. Why make the most important decision of your life on your own when you can have it outsourced and automated to your parents? You learn it in business school, we learn it on Shadi.com. The huge involvement of parents in the marriage of the kids might have started when child marriage was prevalent. At that time, it probably made sense because kids were not mature enough to choose a partner of their own. Of course, they were not mature enough to get married or raise kids or make any kind of financial choices or, I don't know, 21 other freaking decisions. But they sort of learned this on the go. Indian marriages are the best examples of let's go with the flow and see where it takes us. You learn it after a doctoral degree in philosophy, we learn it on Shadi.com. And guess what? It works. Today, couples plan everything for their future, right from when to have kids to which retirement plans they should invest in. And then they get overwhelmed and freak out in breakups. Never plan, guys. Just go with the flow. That's how I was born anyway. But then, to prevent child marriages from happening, the Indian government launched the refined version of the Prohibition of Child Marriage Act in 2006. 2006? While the rest of the world was playing GTA San Andreas, we were playing the real version of Ghar Ghar. Anyway, the Indian government finally said, "Ab to sharam karo, havas thoda kam karo," and raised the age limit to 18 for girls and 21 for boys, which meant Indian parents had to find other means to time pass until then. So now, on their daughter's 18th birthday, they would have her blow the candles at 12 am and her new husband at 1. Her gift would be a mother-in-law and the cake. On it would be the instructions for her husband. You can taste it or smash it. The cake is also nice, by the way. But thankfully, this is no longer the case, at least in most places. You never know which newspaper article tomorrow is gonna pull out a village that considers 18 years a little too late to get married. But the age limit overall has been increasing as generations have gone by, and now it has reached the stage where anywhere from 22 to 27 is the age appropriate for women and 24 to 29 for men, give or take 1 or 2 years depending on where you are from. As soon as you start approaching this agreeable age of marriage, relatives come up to you and joke about how you are next in line to get married. So you take the only option you have, an MBA. Why do you think there are so many Indians doing MBAs and masters? No one has ever done it to upskill themselves, alright? There has always been an ulterior motive, and that motive is to delay getting married, impress the HR, and marry the HR. But even after you're done with your MBA or masters and are still not ready to get married, like most of us, parents take their Bond villain mask and say, "Your plot armor is over, child. Give up and accept your fate." Because that's what they want. They want you to get married. It is for their happiness and their society's approval. You might wonder, but what about my happiness?
I'm sorry, is that how you talk to your parents? After all that they have done for you? Can't you just do this one little thing for them?
Yeah, I thought Indian moms were good at negotiating with a vegetable vendor, but their best bargain is with their own child. The deal they steal is, first 20 years of your life, I'll take care of you. But for the rest of your life, you have to take care of someone else of my choice. So, does this mean a person can date someone after their parents' approval? The answer is yes, and here are the acceptable number of partners you can have before getting married. But then how does this all begin? Well, it starts when parents start looking for the bride or the groom within the family's community. For this, they'll first inquire personally. And there will always be that one relative who is a little too interested in you getting married and will even get the president of ISRO on the line if his daughter is a suitable candidate. But if that doesn't work out, maybe because the daughter is currently doing her MBA, they start expanding the geography for their target customer and may even hire a matchmaker. Who is a matchmaker? How do I say this? Do you know those pop-up ads you get when you visit any shady website, hot chicks in your area 5 kilometers away? Yeah, he is the humanized version of that, except he tells this straight to your parents, and that they actually are 5 kilometers away. Yeah, my matchmaker presents his data on Power BI and Tableau dashboards. He isn't here just to drink your sugarless tea, he means business, son. And how does the matchmaker find the right person? He's given a list by the parents about the kind of features they expect the future son or daughter-in-law to be, and then tries to find the person closest to it. The person looks kinda like this. Oh, you can't see it? That's because that person doesn't exist. And when reality strikes, the parents start to compromise and start cutting off things from their list. For example, the parents would have wanted a guy for their daughter who earns 30 lakhs a year, doesn't drink or smoke, is a vegetarian, and will also take care of them once they get old. But what they get is an engineer. Also, they run into some other issues, like if the girl is more educated than the guy, that's a problem. What if she starts quoting women's rights one day? Can't take that chance. Similarly, if the girl earns more than the guy, that's a problem. What if she says, I want a car, and then goes off and buys on her own? Hello? Excuse me? The guys are supposed to do that. If the girl is older than the guy, that's a problem again. The guy might have mommy issues, but that doesn't mean she gets to be his mommy. If the girl likes the guy, yeah, that's a problem too. It means she's way too eager to get married and is definitely hiding something. So, as you can see, clearly the girl is at fault here. This is because she has Mangal dosha, or as they like to call it in the hood, a manglik, which is why she first has to marry a tree and then chop it down, which is honestly a brilliant idea because it solves all the problems. Because a tree is always wiser, taller, older than the girl, and once chopped down, the wood costs 50 lakhs in the market, so definitely richer than an engineer. Astrology and horoscopes might be specific to Hindu marriages, but love marriages are of course common to all religions. This is how the typical scenario plays out for the girl. The girl loves a guy, so she tells her parents after a couple of years about him. The guy turns out to be outer caste or of other religion or not rich enough, not confident enough, not good looking enough. Pick your favorite. She cries in protest, gives up, and marries someone else. In case of a guy, the guy loves a girl, tells nobody about it, sometimes not even the girl. He gets depressed, gives up, and marries someone else. Either way, two people who do not love each other but like each other just enough to marry till the foreseeable future get married. But what about two people in love? Well, the chances of two people who love each other ending up married is like being a fugitive who just escaped prison. Let's play a game. It's called Fugitive or Love Marriage. Scenario number 1. You have to be on the run, especially during the first few days, and if you get caught, you might end up getting shot. Fugitive or love marriage? That's love marriage. Fugitives don't get shot these days. They are sent back to prison and a cool movie is made after them a few years later. Scenario number 2. The parents have disowned you and they'll never ever talk to you again. Fugitive or love marriage? Yep, that's love marriage again. Fugitives, once they are released and join politics, become socially accepted immediately. Scenario number 3. Their kids grow up to become rich, independent, and successful business people who travel the world. Fugitive or love marriage? Fugitives. You thought you had mastered this game, didn't you? And what about the love married couple? Oh, they got divorced 7 years ago. Their kids are now at their grandparents' house. Now the kids have also disowned them. Anyway, once the girl chooses her parents over love, the guy chooses horniness over love, and the parents choose the matchmaker over love, and all of them agree that the two are suitable for each other, they decide to meet. If you have to see how two humans can make the most normal stuff insanely awkward, just be a fly on the wall when they meet. And this is all happening in a separate room in the same house where the parents are talking, by the way. This is because in rest of the world, the process of dating looks something like this. In India, you need to add a tiny step here and an insignificant step there to make it complete. We already talked about this step, which is the input, and we know about this, which is the output. So, to the parents, whatever is in between here is a waste of time and resources. If you don't talk, that's not an issue. Why do you want to see her in real life anyway? You will see her for the rest of the life. If you don't text or call, fantastic. The more questions they ask each other, the more problems arrive. And if you don't meet before the wedding, that's great. Keeps the mystery alive. Why do you think arranged marriages last so long in India? First 10 years goes in understanding each other anyway. And while normal couples in the rest of the world worry about whether they are making the right decision marrying someone, in India, we have a clear-cut deadline. It's too late to back out if the invitations have already been sent out. So, are matrimonies successful then? Well, you either have unhappy, boring arranged marriages with low divorce rates, or 50-year-olds who fell in love thrice, got married twice, and are currently divorced and living alone on their retirement checks. Pick your poison. And don't forget, with some people who have social skills lesser than that of a potato, this matrimony thing, yeah, really helpful. But the good news is, as generations have gone by, Indian parents have started to become more and more understanding about relationships and the need for love and trust before getting married. So, we might actually see them agree for a live-in relationship by 2150. Farewell.